Welcome to the Daily Dharma, a gentle podcast where we read a philosophical story every week and reflect on how it relates to everyday life. Our focus is to use Buddhist philosophy to understand the complexity of modern life and find achievable and accessible pathways to peace. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Daily Dharma. In this episode, we're going to be talking about flipping the script, how we can learn to take different perspectives on the things that are bothering us in order to gain a better sense of the bigger picture. The story that we'll be reflecting on this theme is called The Saint, and it comes from the book Tiger, Mouse, Strawberry by Yuki Zenda. Here is how the story goes. In a village in a countryside, a rumor spread like wildfire that a holy and wise saint resided on the top of a nearby mountain. One villager decided to embark on a long and challenging journey to visit them. Upon reaching the house atop the mountain, exhausted, the man spotted an elderly servant through the front door and called out to him. The servant warmly greeted him. "Hey there," the man said. "Word has it that there is a great saint living here," the villager mentioned. The servant smiled, nodded, and invited him in. As they walked through the house, the man looked around intently, eager to meet the saint. But the servant led him back to the door before he can see him. The villager stopped and said, "Wait. I went through a long way to get here. After all of this, I want to meet the saint." "But you've already done it," replied the servant. "Consider every person you meet in your life, even if they seem small and insignificant, as someone holy and wise. If you follow this advice, the problem that you brought you here in the first place will solve itself." I think this story is so funny because first, when you hear a rumor like that and you are a villager, of course you want to go through the arduous journey of scaling a mountain in order to get to that house. Like there is something deeply magnetic about that proposal because for a lot of us, it's ingrained that in order to become more enlightened or more understanding of the world, we have to suffer to do so. We have to go through some sort of physical journey. We have to drive far, walk a long time, and only then do we get to meet the saint on the top of the mountain who's going to give us all of life's mysteries solved on a platter. But remarkably, in this story, there is no saint. This is simply a rumor. However, the servant or the person who lives in the house on top of the mountain, who probably gets a lot of visitors looking for a saint, did offer them a truly amazing piece of advice, which is, instead of looking for a saint, why don't you consider the people you encounter as holy and saintly? Because then you're going to be able to find the answers that you're seeking. The people around you actually have the perspectives, the insights, the strategies that you're looking for. And in opening your perspective up to them, in seeing them in a positive light instead of a critical one, they might actually become the solution that you're looking for. And I think this story is also very apt during a time where it has become so easy to simply see the worst in people. And today, for example, I went out, I took the bus to a place I was going to, and I was delighted to see this beautiful little dog just sitting there. I think he is a golden retriever and so well behaved, so calm, and so just, I find that he had a most beautiful mood and demeanor. And just like that, just taking the bus becomes this delightful experience because there's this beautiful dog there that just makes everything more magical and whimsical. And another thing I noticed is when I was heading home, I saw a man just picking litter, and he had no badge. It didn't seem like it was for any company. He looked like a good Samaritan, simply just collecting the trash in his neighborhood to make it more beautiful. And I think that is very important, that we do seek out examples of people demonstrating humanity, because it's very easy to miss. If we only look for what fits the inner script that we have, then that's all what we're going to find. But if we challenge ourselves to see the other side, could it be that there are a lot of good people in this world, but they just don't get the same social media reels and news attention as serial killers do? Could it be that there are a lot of people who are working for the good of society, who are trying to make good things happen, but again, their visibility is just not as high because it's harder to sensationalize a story of someone doing good rather than someone committing a heinous crime? This importance of flipping the script on the narratives that are often popularized and mainstreamed and parroted by the people around us is also really important for our own spiritual development. Because if we only think in the way that we've grown used to thinking, it becomes very, very hard to grow. We have to be able to think to ourselves, what if what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing is not the big picture? Is it possible that there's more, that I don't know everything? That if I were to see more, my perspective on this person and situation would change? And the answer often is absolutely yes. We are only seeing a tiny amount of the lives around us. And my sincere belief is if I walked in the lives of those people around me, the frustration or any kind of negative thoughts would melt away because their lives too, just like mine, are filled with a lot of ups and downs, and they're simply as human as I am. And when we feel this way towards others, when we realize that people do things for a reason, it becomes a lot easier to do things like loving kindness meditation. It becomes a lot easier to forgive when there's just small things that happen that bother you. I think one of the most important things is to remind myself to flip the script. And it's something that we can just do anytime if we are open and flexible to it. But if I didn't flip the script today, if I didn't ask myself, what's interesting and positive about this bus ride? Oh, there's a beautiful dog here. and he's so well behaved. If I didn't look out the window and think to myself, why is that man picking trash off the sidewalk? Could it be that he's just doing it out of the goodness of his heart? Perspective and the willingness to change the way that we initially see something as a method of really growing the perspectives as well as the understanding of what could possibly be going on is very much the fertile ground for compassion for ourselves and others. Because when you are able to flip the script for other people, when you are able to just see a little bit beyond what is the cookie cutter way, the cookie cutter perspective that is, again, very much popularized and mainstreamed on internet forums and even the people around us, when we're able just to insert that little bit of patience and perspective, the whole world opens up to us. And we see that the world is full of so many different people living different lives. The world is much bigger than our initial scripts given to us, especially early in our lives, may seem. And I think that is truly a part of the spiritual journey, is to grow and to make the world bigger than the one that you initially began with. And as a result, you also get to grow your heart and to feel a deeper connection and compassion to those that you encounter. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any stories, thoughts, or questions you'd like to share, please email me at dailydharmapodcast@gmail.com. And may you have a beautiful, safe, and joyful week ahead of you. Until next week.